Welcome back to the AB Scale Project. I'm Krager, and this is Alpha Bravo. And for this episode, we're starting off prowling through the Smokescreen like a Bluestreak, trying to avoid the barricades, and tackling the Datsun bros. Prowl, the total logic policeman who was in from day one on the original series, Bluestreak, the talker, who was also in from day one, and Smokescreen, the subversive gambler that joined them in Season 2. More recently, Barricade joined them as a mold mate. Looking at the toys, you can see all the different media they've been in and all the different molds. And this isn't even all the molds. To make my life easier, we're going to cut this down to the G1 IDW appearances. I'm also going to remove all the Scout class. This will take out 3 of the third-party companies, Iron Factory, Magic Square, and Newage. Okay, now that we've trimmed down a little bit, our recolor stand-in is Ricochet for the alternator's Bluestreak, and it's also a height stand-in for the other alternator's Binaltech. Our other height stand-in is MP Prowl for himself, and the G Creations Rebel and its Smokescreen repaint. Cyberverse Warrior class is also standing in for the Cyberverse Deluxe. For IDW Prowl, the most iconic appearance is only shown in the G Creation. The only problem is, by the scale chart, he's a Deluxe. So we're going to go with a G1 appearance for Prowl. Others removed by scale are the Cyber Series, the Alternators, and the Masterpiece. For playability, I'm removing G1. We're down to the Siege, the Universe, the Combiner Wars, the Earthrise, and the Cyberverse. I'm going to go ahead and remove the Universe because I hate how the neck and the head looks. And I want to remove the Cyberverse because he's more of a cartoony aesthetic than G1. Okay, here's where we're going to call G1. The best G1 is Earthrise. I only bought Bluestreak for the show. I didn't buy the rest because I bought all the Siege and I wasn't going to buy them all again 1 year later. While I still can get Smokescreen, my stubbornness probably gypped me out of the best Prowl. Plus, I didn't want the Ironhide. So, Earthrise for G1. Now we'll look at the IDW winners. Prowl, like I said, has no IDW winner, so he defaults to Earthrise. Bluestreak in More Than Meets the Eye looks like they mixed up the color scheme of him and Smokescreen. The only way to get there is a custom. Oddly enough, for the body, I'd use the Combiner Wars as a base, but for my shelves, I'm just going to use the Earthrise. For Smokescreen, I'm going to go with the Combiner Wars. It's the closest to the Matumti look. For Barricade, in the 2005 continuity, he looked like a generic, but in the 2019 continuity, they used the Siege. So for Barricade, Siege wins. So our winners are Earthrise for Prowl and Bluestreak, Combiner Wars for Smokescreen, and Siege for Barricade. Earthrise for G1 across the board. The Siege is still a great substitute, the legs are just a little skinny. Next up, we're looking at the head mutineer of the Lost Light, Getaway. He first appeared in the 1988 toy line and was featured in the Marvel Comics. He really came into his own as the scheming leader of the mutineers on Lost Light in the More Than Meets the Eye comics. For the toys, we got G1, my Red Alert custom for Titan's Return, seems how he started life as a TR Getaway, the Energon mold, and the T-30 Sandstorm is in for the Mastermind Creations Exodus. You can see my choice since I've already modified the Energon mold, but again, we have a process here. Looking at the Matumti comic, he should be a deluxe, so the MMC is out. For playability, I'm removing G1. Between the Titan's Return and the Energon, I like the extra interest that the Energon mold brings to the table, and also like how the red wings help evoke the door wings on the original character model. So the winner is Energon. There's tutorials on the web for doing the custom I've done with Zoid parts. I just had some 080 plastic sheet that I trimmed down to be the Titan Master adapter. Paint the head, add the nudge gun from Crosscut, and it's perfect. Last up, trying to test my ability to film this, we'll look at the Warden of Garrus 9 Prison, Fortress Maximus. This headmaster burst on the scene in Season 4 of the original series and went on to be used in several forms of media. For IDW Comics, he was added to the Lost Light crew in Matumti Comics and went toe-to-toe with Overlord. Looking at the toys, our height stand-ins are MP Ironhide for Zeta Toys Ford and Torwoiled Infiltrator, and Power of the Prime's Optimus Prime with my Star Convoy conversion kit installed for Mastermaid Odin. First, we'll remove the Mastermaid. It's a super deformed that really doesn't match the G1 or IDW aesthetics. Fort Max has 2 different scales. Leader Plus for IDW and Gigantic for G1. The remaining third parties are G1 aesthetic at IDW scale, so I'm going to go ahead and remove them. For playability, I'm removing G1. So we're down to our winners. Titan's Return for G1 and Perfect Effect for IDW. You do need the add-on kit for the Perfect Effect to get the right height you need. Mastermind Creations did a crowdfunding for a true Matumti Fortress Maximus, but unfortunately it failed. One added bonus to having the Titan's Return Fortress Maximus is that you get the best Cerebros on the market too. So that's it for today. If there's a character you'd like to see, put your request in the comments below. Thanks for joining us today on the AB Scale Project. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.